Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for 8th Grade. So 8th Grade is directed by Bo Burnham, who is a comedian who got popular from YouTube. He started like 11 or 12 years ago making music and making jokes through music, and then slowly he built more and more popularity to the point that he started doing his own stand-up specials, and 2 of his specials were bought by Netflix and distributed by them, and he got really popular, and now it's to the point that he got to make his own feature-length film with A24, my favorite movie studio working today. They are incredible. They have turned out film after film that is just great, and by the reviews of it, it seemed like this was no exception. 8th Grade has been hyped from the beginning. From when it first premiered, people were ecstatic about this movie. People were raving, calling it one of the best coming-of-age movies of all time, calling it the best movie of the year. So, of course, I went in looking forward to it. It follows the story of Kayla Day, who is a 13-year-old going through her last week of 8th grade. And while she's going through it, she's starting to realize just how sad she feels about her life. She's socially awkward, she doesn't really have any friends, and she's just desperately trying to find friends. And she creates videos on YouTube to try to cope with that and giving advice on ways to try to become a better version of yourself. And as she tries to be the version of herself that she talks about in videos, when in reality she is not what she wants to be. She wants to be liked, she wants to be social, but it's hard for her because she is socially awkward. And of course, those are themes I can relate to, and those are themes that about 80% of people can relate to. A lot of people are popular, and they have been popular from the day they were born, and they just went on to become more and more popular, and they've never felt social awkwardness. But basically everybody else has felt socially awkward at one point in their life, and usually that point is in 8th grade. The reason I was personally so excited for this movie was not only because it was directed by Bo Burnham, who is a great comedian. The 2 stand-up specials I've seen of him, Make Happy and What, are both great. And this one I was excited for because it was a movie I'd wanted to see for a long time. Ever since I was in middle school, about I think it was a year ago, because I just finished 9th grade. Ever since I started my first day in 6th grade, I've always wanted a realistic movie about middle school. Because middle school in movies is either depicted with like 5-year-olds playing them, just little kids, or 25-year-olds who are like adults and they're trying to act like middle schoolers. What was nice is that they cast actual middle schoolers in this movie, and that worked. And I've always wanted to see a movie that used real 8th graders and told actual stories about 8th grade. In 8th grade, kids use language. They use a lot of language, and movies never seem to have the confidence to depict that. It's usually the most sexual time in somebody's life. It's the most violent time in somebody's life. And movies are just too scared to show that, it seems. And I was so happy that Bo Burnham was finally displaying that. This had been my most anticipated movie of the year for a really, really long time. I've just been so excited to see this. And I did end up still liking it a lot. I think that what I wanted out of the movie was a bit too much. I wanted this to be something that would change the middle school genre forever and would change all coming-of-age movies, and it doesn't. This movie does not do anything to change anything. In the end, it's really just an honest story about a 13-year-old girl going through middle school. And that's all it really needed to be. It was shot during the summer between her 8th and her 9th grade year, and you could tell that what she gave her performance was something that was similar to her. She got awkward right because she was not trying to act awkward. She was trying to act confident even though she was awkward. And Bo Burnham said that in an interview. He said that the reason he cast Elsie Fisher in this was because she was trying to act confident even though she was awkward, and he saw that and he thought that that was perfect for the role. And she does do a great job. This is probably, I don't think that she'll be able to sustain the hype for as long as is needed, but I think that she would be a good contender for Best Leading Actress for this year, because she seriously gives a great performance. And the thing is, unlike most kid actors, most who are into artsy films and are usually pretentious, she's not trying to win an Oscar. She's not going out of her way to give a whole lot of emotion. She's just giving an honest performance, and I really liked that. And something this movie does really, really well is that it doesn't over dramatize the events. And what I mean by that is, just take the videos for example. The videos where she's trying to show, a better version of herself and trying to be a more confident version of herself, but she's not able to do it. Well, she is able to do it in front of the camera, but she's not able to do it in real life. Now, that theme is the type of theme that you find in like a YouTube original movie, and it's really like cliched and contrite, and it's usually really in your face, like, oh, look how great she is when she's not feeling socially awkward. But this movie didn't do that. It stayed subtle about the fact that she is socially awkward, and she is so terribly socially awkward that she has a hard time being herself unless it's in front of a camera. And again, these are themes that I can relate to, and that is why I personally really enjoyed 8th grade. And the humor too is great. Bo Burnham is great at awkward humor. If you have not seen his specials, you should watch them and just count how many pauses there are. It's great because he'll say a joke super fast that's really not that funny, and then just take like a 10-second silent break, and that makes it so much funnier. And just the way that his comedy worked was apparent in this movie, because every single event was just like his comedy specials are. He made everything perfectly awkward for the movie, and I really enjoyed that. In the end, 8th grade isn't really anything revolutionary. It's nothing that's gonna change cinema forever. Unfortunately, I did kind of wish that it would be, and I kind of wished that it would, change the way that we view middle school for film, but it didn't. But at the same time, I guess that's not really what the movie's intention was. Its intention was just to show 8th grade honestly and completely. And it did that. It showed 8th grade pretty well. There were a few things here and there that I didn't think were really similar to 8th grade, but the rest of it was perfect. And I came out of the movie happy. And that's all that it really needed to do. And some of the concepts that they bring up in it are just so true to 8th grade, especially right now in modern day, that I'm surprised Bo Burnham displayed them so well, considering he's 27. Just themes of being an awkward kid and thinking that other awkward kids are still below you. That's a theme that's brought up in the movie. The theme of the camera in front of you, and how you're a different person, and how social media has really changed us a lot. And a lot of the things that Kayla did are just very similar to what people do in 8th grade. And that is something I've just wanted to see for a long time. And I'm so glad that Bo Burnham finally displayed that on screen. I will give 8th grade an 8.5 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for 8th grade. So, what are your thoughts on this film, or what do you think of Bo Burnham's stand-up specials? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.